Years ago, I used to love cosmetics. I was in the cosmetic industry now. And so I was in a mall. Okay, I was on the corner. Now I'm there. And they would walk every day. Okay, so they would walk all the mall markets and they would come by and they met me, and then the next day they would come in and talk to me. Okay, here's those substances to walk. Well, then when they would get company to come visit from Georgia, they would bring them out there and walk them into this Centerville world with action. Because a lot of things in their neighborhoods, transplants or days. The next thing they would say, "Talk." And I'm like, well, I can talk your ear off, but anyway, yeah, this is a girl who was born in Georgia, in Crawford Mall Hospital. Well, I talk fast.
Thank you for being here. Now stand.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
I love being a part of this. I actually think Loganville has a new managing editor, which is Stephen Milligan. Loganville has been for many years when he wasn't a managing editor. So they made him managing editor. Well, he's kind of new to it. And so I saw this and I said, please let me shoot this. And he said, okay. So then, if I had not the past, I don't know what you would do.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I love being a part of this.
Gotta do good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Good work. My little baby grandson. Debbie. This is Camden.
I know, I didn't recognize you.
This is more than hair.
Something so simple, so yet so hard to find.
You can be like your hair. Trust me. So I'm just thinking of you. Yeah, I had to get it. Oh yeah, he's all excited to death. Freeze.
It's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. Thank you. Yes, that must be fixed. It's stone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Riders, attention, dismissed.
We'll give the flag line just a minute to get back to their seats. Good morning and welcome to the City of Loganville's 16th Annual Veterans Day Ceremony. It's good to see everybody. We up on the stage applaud you for coming today. As we get started, I would like to take a moment to point out that this is not only the 16th year that this ceremony has been going on, but also it's the fourth mayor that we've worked with, and they have always been very cooperative, and it's nice to know that with those guys in the past and the future too, it's really good to be able to work with people that are willing to support the Veterans Day. You know, at one time we did the Veterans Day ceremony outside. How many of you guys remember that the snow flurries and a real cold day? You know, it's an honor to be here at our post, the post 233 Loganville as mayor policeman. So again, thank you all for coming. Again, very nice to see everybody here. I ask that everybody that's able to please stand, and we're going to present the flag. Captain of the Color Guard, please approach and post our nation's flag.
Color Guard. Up. What? Forward. Forward.
Color Guard is under the control of Captain Jerry Mahaffey. Right hand salute.
Color Guard. Forward. Right. Face. Post. Covers. Present. Arms.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please hold your salute for our national anthem, performed by Miss Crystal Wilson. Crystal, if you will.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, 'cause that star-spangled banner yet waves o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ready? Two.
Thank you, Crystal.
Face. Forward.
Please remain standing for our opening prayer, performed by Pastor Calvin Mountain.
Let us look to heaven right now. What an honor, what a privilege it is to be here today, to be asked to come. I'm a little nervous, but I have all of these soldiers and to keep me steady. Amen. Our Heavenly Father, we come this morning with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you for a new day. We thank you for all the brothers and sisters who are here today, who have given their lives for our great country. We thank you, Lord, for keeping us through all the years you have been with us. You're a mighty God, and we love you, and we thank you for being our God. We thank you for protecting us as we went and served our time. Whatever country, wherever it was, you were right there with us. And you kept us. You brought us back home safely. But we pray for those who fell in the field. We pray for their families right now, their memories. We thank you for their service. We thank you for all the joy you have brought us on this great day, Veterans Day. And we lift you up, Lord, and we say thank you. We praise your name. And yet while I was sitting, someone had asked me to say a special prayer for someone, 2 or 3. But I say a special prayer for all of us right now. And we want to thank you, Lord, for keeping us and bringing us to this place right now. We give you all the glory and all the praise. God bless America, our home, sweet home. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. I'm sorry. Ask for Calvin to stay with me. He and I are on first name basis. I guess I call the minister of Calvin, right? I can't. Okay, good. Anyway, I wanted to read Calvin's bio because he's got quite a bio here, and I wanted to run through it pretty quick. And I'll stumble through this one probably, but please bear with me. Today, as you have witnessed, we are blessed with a different minister of faith. We are grateful to have Pastor Calvin Mount from the Morning Star Baptist Church here in Loganville. Pastor Mount is not only a man of God, but also an Air Force veteran. I'm surprised, Tom, you hear that? Air Force. Tom's an Air Force veteran. Tom, thank you too for what you're doing over there. He served our country for 4 years with a tour to Korea during the Vietnam War. Pastor Mount also stated that God has blessed him many times over while he was in service and also to our country, but also becoming the minister of Morning Star Baptist Church. Pastor Mount and his lovely wife have been blessed with 4 children, 11 grandchildren. Reverend Mount started his ministry in 1974, and since then, he has continued to dedicate his life to serve God. Reverend Pastor Mount attended Carville Baptist College. I told you I'd stall through it. Carville Baptist College and graduated from Liberty University. Pastor Mount has also been honored at the Georgia House of Representatives and the Loganville City Council. He does not idle. He's very active and is not idle very often. He works with all of our community, sick and homebound, but also very active with Morning Star's Feed the Homeless. After our opening prayer, I feel that God has blessed us with a sacred spiritual tone and a great man. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Also, I want to mention, you guys are used to, if you've been with us before, you guys are used to seeing Pat Buchanan. Pat, I got sniffles this morning, so y'all bear with me. Pat Buchanan is not with us today due to a heart surgery just yesterday. And we knew that this was coming up, so he's not with us, but he asked that you guys continue to pray for him and his wife. His wife is getting in pretty bad health also. But he said, there's only one bad thing about missing you guys. He said, I'm going to break my record of not being there. He was with us as of day one. He's always been with us, and we're grateful that he has been. Let me read another short bio. That's not always for our mayor. And by the way, the mayor's outgoing. We have a new mayor now, and he'll mention that a little bit. But I want to read Skip's. In Loganville, we call him Skip. So I don't think he's going to be too aggravated at that. But it's now my honor to welcome to the city of Loganville Mayor, the Honorable Skip Elias. Better known to most of us in Loganville as Skip. Mayor Elias is an Eden, North Carolina native. He is a graduate of Western Carolina University. Skip spent 40 years in various management roles, including store manager at Sears, manager of Lowe's and Home Improvement Store. Skip moved to Lawrenceville, Georgia in 1993, but he moved on to settle in Loganville in 2005. He then retired and started attending city council meetings and decided to try his background skills in supporting the Loganville City Council. He ran for office in 2011 and was elected to the city council and started in 2012. Skip ran for only 2 terms because of his belief in term limits. Then he ran for mayor in 2021 and was elected and took office in 2022. Mayor Elias is married with 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter. So that's a nice family, so we appreciate him for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our MC for today's ceremony, the Honorable Mayor of Loganville, Mr. Skip Elias.
This is the part that Stan does not enjoy, and that's when I look him in the eye and say, I'm going to wing this thing. Stan is a planner, and he plans really well, really early, and to be quite honest, it's a blessing. But I did want to, he didn't put this in this year's package, but I wanted to share it with you.
Getting off script.
I know. Every time I get off script, I usually get in trouble, but that's okay. So what? His commitment to serve his nation is extended beyond being a combat infantryman. When he earned a number of accolades, including the Combat Infantry Badge, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and many other ribbons. His dedication to our country has continued after his service, as he devotes many, many hours to veterans' causes, including volunteer work with the PTSD Vet Center in Lawrenceville, with the Quilt Survival Foundation, and many of the veterans here have received those Quilts of Valor. They're cherished. And at this Legion, where he's a past commander and a past director with the Legion Riders. And the reason I tell you that is because this past Saturday night, Stan was honored by the Freedom Riders, who are right over here. Stand up, guys. Come on, stand up. All of you can, I know. Come on, come on. Stan has been leading with, he started the Ride for America 28 years ago with a friend of his, Gary Lemons. And Gary, over the years, passed away. And Stan has stood in his place and carried this thing forward for 28 years. This is the second largest Ride for America in America. It's impressive. In Loganville, Georgia, when 1,000 motorcycles crank up, and it sounds like thunder coming out, and you think back to some of those Bible verses, is this it? Is this it? But it's really impressive, puts a name out there, and we salute 28 years of doing this, and he continues to do it and continues planning all the time. And we thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. All of you now know an author because Stan wrote me a book, I think. So that's okay. It's a lot easier to stay on script. But we do thank you, Stan. It is my honor, as it has been for several years, as the mayor of the city of Loganville, to take part in this ceremony and welcome each of you to our city. Every one of you is a VIP and an important person. Please don't forget that. But I would like to take a moment to recognize a few people here today. The veterans from the retreat of Loganville. Where are you? The retreat? There they are on the back table. Thank you for being here. The veterans of the Dogwood Forest at Grayson with Ron Nelson, past mayor. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. With Ron Nelson. Stand up, Dogwood. There we go. Thank you for being here, guys. And you got to know some of these folks that made the trip from where they're living now to here. It's not always an easy trip. For many of us, it's not an easy trip. So we really appreciate your dedication. Thank you. I would like to take a moment to recognize, again, another few people from here. And the next one is the guy I give a lot of aggravation to. I know I do, and I have to apologize, but past mayor and still a city leader, Mr. Dan Curry. Stand up, Dan. And there's a few other folks that we're going to name, if you don't mind. You have a new mayor-elect in Loganville, and that is Mr. Brandon Whitfield. Stand up, Brandon. I got to tell you, a few years ago, I found out that the Holy Cross put my name on their prayer list every week. And there are some weeks when you understand why. Some things don't go as planned. Some people have different opinions about things. When I'm talking to somebody, sometimes I'll say, you know, Loganville has got the best darn mayor in the country. And they'll look at me funny. Some of them look at me mad. Wait a couple seconds. But opinions vary. Opinions vary a lot. So, but that's okay. We also have Melanie Jones is here. She was just re-elected to the council. Long. What did I say?
Jones.
That's close. I got Jones next. Melanie Long was just re-elected to the council. And we've got, appreciate you being here. We got Keith Colquitt here, who was just elected for the first time on the city council. Keith, thank you for being here. Talking about government now. We have a Mr. Buddy Carter here with us today. Buddy, where are you? Okay, very good. We appreciate you being here. He's going to be running for Senator of the United States soon. He's currently in the House of Representatives. Very good. I hope you have a part in getting this shutdown fixed. It's coming to a close, but a lot of people have heard. And we know it. We know it. So we appreciate you being here, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple other folks. Well, several other folks here. Clyde Strickland is with us today. Clyde's right on the front table. Good to see you.
Right.
He is the founder of Metro Waterproofing, and he helps out a lot in Gwinnett County, and we appreciate what you do. He gets me in trouble quite often. I'll tell you the last time, I was telling this at lunch one day when we just happened to see he and his wife, Sandra, at downtown Lawrenceville. He gave me a book a few years ago, and he signed it for me. It was very nice. And you read it, it's a really compelling story. So a couple months ago, about 11 o'clock at night, I started reading it again. My wife comes into the den about 2 o'clock in the morning. Are you ever going to come to bed? And I'll say, I'll be right with you. So I mark my spot so I can come back the next day. And so I told Clyde, you keep getting me in trouble. It's just the way it is, right? It's a great book. Great book. And we have Glenn Yonoski. Glenn, he's with us. He's with the Across the Bridge Ministry, working with a lot of addictions. I think you started out with alcoholism mainly, and that may still be the case, but there's a lot of people out there and in here that needs help, so we know that. It's never enough help. Then we got Tommy Hanson, Department of Georgia historian. Tommy, where are you? All of you want to get your picture made by Tommy. they seem to end up in the post office. So he's got more than one job, I guess. And then we had Ricky Bond. Ricky, very good. Department of Georgia Vice Commander. Thanks everybody for being here. If I missed somebody, I apologize. I probably did, but that's okay. So here we go. I also need to talk about another person here. Some other people. With the rally point, Mike Matson. He has a ton of knowledge.
He'll get enough of me later.
I know. He is very knowledgeable for vets with benefits, and has helped a lot of our vets get their benefits that they deserve. And his co-part is Brandon Watts. Brandon, I saw you earlier. You still with us? Brandon.
He's right here.
Okay. Hard to get that man stand up. He's the CEO and founder of Operation Rally Point in Monroe. He helps veterans who are homeless find a home and tries to help them find some transportation at times, a job at times. You know, I think all of us are inspired by people who are willing to give a hand up instead of a hand out. That's what it takes to get people back on point. So we appreciate you guys being here. This Legion, just for your information, gives $7,000 every month to Rally Point to help in that effort. So we appreciate that too. We also have another guest that has traveled from as far away as Yukon, Oklahoma. Bushmaster Rocky Moore and his wife Kathy. Thank you for being here. Rocky will serve on our wreath team a little bit later. We have another warrior, Bushmaster. I was in retail, guys. I sold a lot of bushwhackers. This is Bushmaster. Paul Finnegan and his wife Marie that have traveled from upstate New York to be in support of our great day of celebration. And Paul will speak about home Very good. Very good. That's okay. You were just cooked to perfection early, right? That's what God does. It takes some people 7 feet high to get perfected in the oven of God. It only took you a little bit less than that. And I've got to tell you, I cannot go by and not introduce another individual who is going to be so mad at me. She is every time. And that's my wife and current First Lady of Loganville, Jerry Beliles. Come on, Jerry. Stand up. Stand up. You know I'm going to make you stand up. Jerry, listen to me. Now, that's it. Thank you. The reason I say that is she hates that term. Is that fair?
Yeah. I won't be first lady.
There'll be a price to pay. I do. Everywhere I go, people try to get me off the podium. Nan's band's trying to. Well, I had a good time, so I hope you are too. As mayor, I stand before you today to offer a few words. Throughout our nation's history, American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and now Space Force have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. I am a proud member of this American Legion Post 233 and serve as the Senior Vice Commander of the Sons of the Legion. I continue to offer my assistance of my post as mayor to help any veterans to the best of my abilities. They are important. You are important. I was looking at a documentary the other day, and it was really a serious one. And I know I don't want to get too far out in the weeds, but in that documentary, they said, you know, without the American soldier and without a couple of really good, maybe lucky things that happened in World War II, I could be standing here today speaking German. That's scary. That's scary, but it was that close at times. So we're glad we overcame, and it's great. Today we honor all of our veterans, and I mentioned the Marines just a minute ago. How many Marines we have here?
Rock.
Yesterday was the Marines' 250th anniversary. Congratulations. Any comments from our Army buddies? We'll hold all that. We honor all of our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedom. Those men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered that call. They left their families, their homes, and their lives, not for recognition or for fame or even the honor we bestow on them today. They fought to protect our country and to maintain our way of life. And that's the truth. And before I go any further, I want to put a special note on families. Families, they hurt when their closest people are in harm's way. And we appreciate what the families do, the wives, the partners, the kids. It can be a tough time, and we do appreciate it. I was speaking to our police officers, I guess around last Christmas last year, and I just had to urge, I had to say something I usually don't there, but I had to get up and thank the families. To me, it's easier to be out there in a patrol car, not that it's easy, than to be sitting at home wondering. It's tough. It's tough. Okay. As we honor our veterans and remember their great deeds, let us also salute those who are now defending our freedom across this great world. The freedom we enjoy is extremely special, and that is why we must defend it. So now is the time to not only honor those that have fought and those that are fighting for our freedom, it is also the time for each of us to take part in protecting it. The defense of freedom is not just for those in the military, but it's also each of us to share that duty and that responsibility. We don't have to join the Army, the Navy, or any other military organization of defense to actively defend our way of life. We can protect our freedom simply by maintaining it here in America on our own soil. And we have some struggles at times doing that. If we want to preserve our freedoms, we must put those freedoms into action. For example, by voting and speaking out against injustices. Got to tell you, in our town of Loganville, this time on the election, we had about 17% of our registered voters that voted. Okay, that means 83% did not vote. And the problem with that is, it's countrywide. There's a lot of apathy. It just exists. The previous, I could brag and say we doubled the number of voters this past time, because the last election for council members and those type of things, less than 8% voted. And that means 92% did not vote. Some people say I don't have time. Too busy. And I get it. But we have early voting for 3 weeks before the election. We have 2 Saturdays dedicated to early voting. And then you have election day. To me, that's an excuse, not a reason. So, just so you know where I stand. And we can do that by volunteering in our communities like the special people behind me today. Let us take an oath to teach our children and grandchildren what it really means to be an American. We must understand transitioning from military life to civilian life presents a whole new set of challenges. for some of our veterans. We all know some, and they struggle. For some, it means a feeling of isolation with the fear of having nowhere to turn. That is where we as a community help in Loganville, and as fellow veterans here at American Legion Post 233. And I'll say this for the post. In my opinion, I haven't been to all of them, but this is the best American Legion post in the country too. Give them a hand. Let's go. Come on. It's hard to imagine how much work is done by few people to have ceremonies like this. We had one last Saturday night for the anniversary. They're always doing something. We play bingo here, and it really pays all the bills for the Legion. Three nights a week and one on Sunday afternoon. They're always doing something. It's just a busy place. Do what? Oh, okay, they're laughing now. They want me off. I had a young lady who's in charge of what we call the triad meetings, and she said the other day, named Pat Pippin, and that's an organization that gets senior citizens together once a month, and we have the fire department there, we have the police department there, we have the county police there, we have the county chairman there, we have mayors there, that kind of thing, trying to keep them up to date on things that happen, scams in particular. And she told me at the last meeting, which was just last week, she sure was going to miss having to pull me off the podium. And I said, well, Pat, why do you put me on last? You know, but that's life. They give so much back to those who have sacrificed so much. And that help is extended beyond just the veterans, but also to their family. Please understand that America would not be the great nation it is today were it not for those who served in all branches of the military. That's true. That's true. Without the efforts of our veterans and our God, as I said earlier, we could be speaking German today. I struggle with English. I don't know how to speak German. Anyway, here we go. Enough of me. Applause. What we got? 10 more minutes? Did you see that? Please lend me your attention as I read Mr. Paul Finnegan's short bio. Paul Finnegan joins us today from upstate New York, and we don't want anybody talking about the mayor of New York City while we're here today. But anyway, Paul served in the United States Army. Both Paul, Rocky Moore, and Stan Walden served their tours of duty in Vietnam back in 1968, 1969, in a very prestigious company called, get it right, the Bushmasters. Got it right. I guess I need to forget my days of retail and bush. I'm forgetting it, see? Paul holds an associate's degree in data processing and a bachelor's degree in computer science. Paul and wife Maria, of 52 years, are originally from New York City, but in 1975 they moved 150 miles north to Danbury, New York. Together, they raised a family of 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. They are proud grandparents of 6 3 boys and 3 girls. They do like to keep it even. That's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in giving Mr. Paul Flanagan a true Southern welcome as he approaches the podium for the time of reflection.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our town was founded by James Duane in 1773. It is 72 square miles of hills, valleys, and 6,000 residents. K-12 has only 650 students, a little bit different than New York City. James Duane was active in our nation's founding. He was friends with Washington and other founding fathers. He was very active in raising funds for the Revolutionary War. And after the war, his son-in-law, Colonel William North, was charged with building a section of what is now known as US Route 20. Dwayne made sure the road went past the Episcopal Church that he built on Dwayne made sure that the road went past the Episcopal Church that he built in Dwaynesburg Commons. He envisioned Dwaynesburg becoming the capital of New York State and the capital of the country. Things changed. A very fertile farming valley borders our town, and it has been home to many farms since before the Revolution. These forts were built to protect the valley, and in 1780, one was attacked by a large force of British regulars, Loyalists, and Indians. That former church has a hole in its cornice molding that is still visible today. The Revolutionary War ended in 1783, and it was not until 1919 that a day was set aside to honor our veterans. It was 1938 before Veterans Day became an official holiday in the United States. Freedom is not free is a phrase we've all heard. 1776 was the first time we came together to fight for our freedom. The freedom to speak our minds, to worship as we choose, to elect our leaders. These freedoms were bought and paid for by the sacrifices of our veterans. We gathered to pay tribute to the extraordinary individuals who have worn the uniform of our nation's armed forces. Veterans Day is more than a date on the calendar. It's a solemn promise to remember. Think of the young men and women who left the comfort of their homes to face unknown dangers. They missed birthdays, holidays, and precious moments with loved ones while serving. We recognize the sacrifices made not just by those in uniform, but by the families of those who supported them through long deployments and anxious nights. To all veterans, whether you served on the front lines, supported from behind the scenes, your contributions matter. Your service has made a difference, and our country is grateful. Those who serve know what it means to be part of a family team. Your impact goes beyond active duty. Veterans bring leadership, discipline, and a sense of duty back to our communities. They become our teachers, our first responders, our business leaders, and our neighbors. Your continued service enriches our nation every day. To the families of our veterans, your strength and sacrifice have not gone unnoticed. You've kept the home family functioning during deployments, provided comfort during difficult times, and show incredible resilience in the face of uncertainty. Today, we honor you as well. When I served with SAN, we were stationed 20 miles south of Da Nang and 10 miles west of the South China Sea. One location in our area of operation was an escarpment with a breathtaking view of the South China Sea. What a view, I told my squad members. They agreed. Then I said, after this war, we'll probably be a vacation spot here. They laughed and made comments you can't mention here. In January 2024, I took a 17-day tour of Vietnam. We started in Hanoi and ended in Saigon. Our tour guide had been born in Hanoi around 1970, but he moved near Saigon after the war to live near relatives. His childhood home was 2 blocks from where Ho Chi Minh lived, and it was destroyed in a 1975 bombing. Fortunately for the family, they were living in caves outside Hanoi at that time. After the war, the family moved to Saigon, and his cousin told them how good the Americans were. The family started a business without government approval, and that business employed up to 300 people. His father was arrested for being a capitalist. This man taught himself English, became a police detective, and determined how a corrupt police official had been able to seize their home. He then succeeded in having the government return the home to the family. Needing jobs, the government now works with people to start businesses as long as it looks like the government started them. I stood outside what had been called LZ Baldy and is now a Vietnamese military base. People greeted me. Working in a nearby rice paddy were 2 older workers. One walked over to the car, and when he found out I was a vet, he pointed to me and with a big grin said, "Thank you." The U.S. military won the hearts of the Vietnam people. Here we are 56 years later, with Stan, Rocky, and myself often have connected. We communicate via morning emails and a text message chains that last from sunrise to well past family. Veterans, we can never fully repay the debt we owe you. We strive to be worthy of your sacrifices. We can work to build a nation that lives up to the ideals for which you fought. We can ensure that your service and your sacrifices are never forgotten. Thank you for reminding us that freedom is free and it's worth fighting for. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Paul. It is great to have people like yourself in support of our veterans and our Veterans Day ceremony. I thank you for your time and service in our country in Vietnam, and I thank you for your travels all the way to the capital of Georgia, Loganville, Georgia. Capital? Maybe not, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to read a bio for our guest speaker today. His name is Mike Matson. And I spoke about him earlier because he's with Rally Point. Mike was born to a proud and resilient Sicilian family from Connecticut in 1964, but moved to Georgia in 1968. Graduated from Stone Mountain High School in 1982. Gosh, he knows how to make people feel old. Mike enlisted in the U.S. Army that spring and went straight to Fort Benning, where he completed infantry and airborne training. After training, he was accepted into the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare School as an 18B weapons sergeant. Some of you know what that means. If not, ask Mike afterwards. He's going to be here all day. Then he was assigned to the 10th Special Forces Operational Group. Later, he was accepted into the initial entry rotary wing flight school, earning aircraft qualifications in the TH-55 and the UH-1. I'm thinking those are helicopters.
They are.
They are. What a plane. After having success in the rotary wing school, he was stationed at the NATO Air Base in Germany, then on to the 10th Mountain Division post at Griffiths Air Force Base in Rome, New York. He served as flight operations officer for the attack helicopter battalion during Operations Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and later in Somalia. He deployed with the 148th Brigade Support Battalion, S3, Tactical Operations Center, in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in and around Kabul, Afghanistan. Just a list of Mike's awards and decorations. He has the Army Aviation Wings, Army Parachutist Wings, Army Air Assault Badge, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal. If anybody here knows Mike, this next one had to come from Ripley's Believe It or Not. He has the Good Conduct Medal. I've known him for several years. I have seen no evidence of that. Congratulations. National Defense Service Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, NCO Professional Development Ribbon, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, United States Service NATO Medal, NATO Afghanistan Service Medal, Georgia National Guard Special Operations Ribbon, Georgia National Guard State Active Ribbon, NATO UC-IS Air Force Joint Command. His unit awards are U.S. Army Presidential Unit Citation, Meritorious Unit Compensation, that's total, including the good behavior, of 21 awards. Pretty darn good. Mike had a total of 33 years of honorable services and retired from military service as a Chief Warrant Officer 2. Mike's education, he has an associate and a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science degrees from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Wasn't Emory, but it's close. Mike has 3 children, 2 grandchildren, and adopted 5 children. He serves on a number of nonprofit boards. He is CEO and owner of Foxhole Internet Radio Network. Just some civilians since he's been out of the service. Legion, Post 233, Post Service Officer. 2021, Legionnaire of the Year at this post. 2021 was awarded the Quilts of Valor quilt. Currently serving as Development Coordinator and Veterans Service Officer for Rally Point, Operations Rally Point in Monroe. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Mike Matson.
Part that he didn't bring up is I can't see that well. So gotta get my eyes out. All right, y'all ready for all this? Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be here today. This means so much to me. It's one of those things that, for years now I've been coming up here and seeing people with, 2 stars on their uniforms and things like that. And, today's one of those days that it really represents everybody who wore the uniform. So thank you so much for being here today, seriously. It's not just to honor veterans, but it's also the listed one. All right, as I said before, my name is Michael Matson. My middle name is Salvatore, which is very Sicilian. I served in the United States Army from 82 to 2014. Basically, the Army rounded it up or rounded it down, I'm not sure, as I like to call it, 3 decades of learning the true meaning of hurry up and wait. Anybody that served knows exactly what I mean. Currently retired Chief Warrant Officer with 100% VA disability rating. But before I became a soldier, before the rucksacks, the C-Rats is where I started, then we worked into MREs, the endless PT, which I don't participate in anymore, as you can see. I was just a kid growing up in America in the 60s and 70s. Life back then was a lot simpler. It was a lot louder too, man. Music was great. President JFK once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter just those words, but to live by them. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. Some of my story. Yes, it's a long story, but I like to think that I'm still living by everything. We're going to go down a path today. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about what it was like before becoming a veteran, then serving our country, then actually becoming a veteran. My life, as we said before, started in 1964. I was a gorgeous baby, by the way. There's really not a lot of pictures of me back then, but I was rocking this red jumpsuit one time. I still have that picture. Things pretty nice. The 60s were filled with civil rights and the moon landing, muscle cars. Gas was cheap. I can still remember 29 cents a gallon on Memorial Drive, and my grandfather was complaining about it. Hair was long, and music actually had lyrics that meant something, So back then, my biggest worries were making it home before the streetlights came on, and hoping my dad didn't catch me tracking mud in the house, because, man, I went a whole summer one time without wearing shoes. I didn't even know where they were. And I don't know that he was so upset about me tracking mud in the house as much as he was, Mom was going to yell at him about letting me track mud in the house. I had 2 older brothers. We could blame them. Nowhere in my wildest dreams did I ever think about the military as a career. I mean, I played Army because no child ever played Navy. That's for my son-in-law, the Navy vet and lieutenant here on Loganville Police Department. Ryan, I love you, and that's a beautiful shade of red. In the early 70s, my stepfather, a military man, took me and my brothers to the cinema to see the movie Patton. In the very beginning of the movie, the room gets called to attention. My father stood up, and so did so many others in the theater. I didn't realize what I was seeing until later in life. The Vietnam War was on TV every night, grainy footage on a boxy TV. Back then we had one TV, it was in the living room. Now I have TVs in the bathroom for my dogs. Even as a kid, I remember feeling some sense of respect for the men and women in uniform. My father rarely if ever, spoke of it. They were young, not much older than I would be when I raised my right hand years later, unbeknownst to me. My father passed away in the summer of '75 due to complications from his time in Vietnam. You see, as a young NCO, he was exposed to a strangely fragrant defoliant. That name had nothing to do with its color. When my father passed away, he was on a kidney dialysis machine 8 hours a day, every other day. My entire family was required to help. My mother, God rest her soul, chose a career in the U.S. Marshals. She was trying to raise 3 boys. Because they would allow her time for law school. Ironically, this would also become what I wanted to do for a career. Unfortunately, though, my mother was shot and killed in Gwinnett County shortly after my 15th birthday. Her memory lives on through my beautiful daughter, Rosie. Decembers can be difficult months for my brothers and I. So I stayed in school. I graduated from Stone Mountain High School. The country was coming out of a very turbulent period. The 70s brought about Watergate, disco, more bell bottoms than anybody should have allowed. I'm sure Stan had some. But to me, it was time to find direction. I wanted to do something meaningful, something bigger than myself. And you know what I heard about the Army? They served you 3 meals a day. Man. So in 1982, I made the decision that would shape the rest of my life. I joined the United States Army. And I can tell you, the recruiter made it sound a whole lot more fun than it was actually going to be. You know, in the book of Joshua, it says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong, courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." That verse became extremely real to me the moment I stepped off that bus. I quickly learned that courage wasn't about being afraid. It was about doing your duty, even when you're terrified. And I assure you, I was terrified. My life in the Army from 1982 to 2014 spanned 3 decades. The Army wasn't just my job. It became my home, my purpose, my family. My beautiful daughter was born in Germany when I was with 3rd Infantry Division. You know, it's funny. When you join, you think you're signing up to serve your country. But what you find out is you're serving each other, your brothers, your sisters beside you. Currently, this room, to me, is filled with heroes, the men and women that I'm absolutely positive that you accomplished more than I ever did. My travels, my experiences are all pale in comparison to yours. You know, General Douglas MacArthur said it best, "The soldier, above all men, is required to practice the greatest act of religious training, sacrifice. In battle and in peace, he must discipline himself to perform the highest act of religious teaching, sacrifice." And he was right. Service teaches sacrifice. It teaches humility. It teaches that freedom isn't free, and the character is not built in those easy moments, but the ones that test us the most. Over those years, I saw the best of America. I saw courage when fear should have taken over. I saw compassion in the middle of chaos. And that's what combat is. Don't let anyone tell you different. It is chaos. I saw leaders rise, not because of their rank, but because of their heart. There were times when we missed holidays, birthdays, and first steps. Times when we carried out not only our own burdens, but those of others who couldn't go on. But through it all, we learned that service is a love of action, a love of country, a love of team, and a love of something greater than self. Now, in 1982, you know, that's not really ancient history until you realize we didn't have cell phones or GPS or social media. And if you wanted to find out what was going on, you actually had to read the newspaper. Or you had to wait till at least CNN came on. The Cold War was still a thing. The Soviet Union was the big bad wolf. The Berlin Wall was still standing tall. Ronald Reagan was our president. And the Army was rebuilding after Vietnam. You know, I served from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. 3 decades that changed the world and the military with it. I remember when the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. We were in Germany. I actually have a piece of it somewhere. We thought maybe peace was finally at hand. Then came the Gulf War, 91, and we realized freedom always has a new test. Then, September 11, 2001, You know, that day changed everything for me. I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. And I'm sure many of you do too. In that moment, every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine knew the world had shifted. We just weren't defending borders anymore. We were defending an idea. Those were hard years. Deployments, goodbyes, too many empty chairs at the table. But there was also pride, camaraderie, and the kind of friendship that only comes from shared hardship. Becoming a veteran. When I retired in 2014, I thought I understood service. I'm a pretty smart guy. I know I'm incredibly good looking, don't lie. But what I didn't understand was the transition. No one really prepares you for what it feels like to hang that uniform up. If you were in the National Guard, you had to turn in all your gear. I never got to that. It's still in my second bedroom. You can go from a world of structure, mission, and purpose to a world that can feel quiet, uncertain, and even lonely. Someone once told me that you go from doing something incredibly special to doing nothing special at all. There's a quote from General Powell from Desert Storm. The day that soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day you stopped leading them. And I realized that even as a veteran, I still had people bringing me their problems. Thanks, Tom, for nominating me to be the VSF. Not in a common sense, but in a brotherhood sense. Veterans calling for help with their VA claims all day, all night, and weekends too. Veterans struggling to adjust. Veterans searching for the same purpose as I was. And then it hit me. The mission isn't over. It just changed uniforms. Generally, I wear shorts. Inside joke. You know, being a veteran isn't about what we once did. It's about who we become. It's about carrying forward the same values that define us in uniform. Our duty, our honor, and our selfless service. We may no longer wear the uniform, but our hearts still bear that flag. Because every time we mentor a young person, every time we support a fellow vet, it strengthens our community. We're proving that service doesn't end, it evolves. So today we celebrate Veterans Day. Each and every year, the anniversary of the armistice ended World War I, the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. You know, that timing has always felt deeply meaning for me. It's not just a date in history, it's a reminder of courage and sacrifice and the price of freedom. And somehow it feels fitting that this day falls in the heart of autumn. A season of reflection, when the colors fade, the world grows quieter, inviting us to pause and to remember. It's a strange, humbling thing to honor those who gave their lives in defense of our country, in defense of us, in the battles fought so far away. When I picture those heroes, I sometimes see them as old and wise. But the truth is, most of them are young, just boys, really. They gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one that they would have lived. When they fell, they gave up their chance to be husbands, fathers, grandfathers. This is my granddaughter up front here. She calls me Po from Kung Fu Panda, and I find no humor in it whatsoever. All right, let's see here. They gave up everything for our country, for our freedom, for each one of us. Sometimes it feels like all we can do is remember them, but that's not true, is it? We can do more. You know, in the book of Joshua there, it says, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. These words remind me that we're never alone in our duty to honor the fallen. Their memory should not only fill our hearts with gratitude, but also strengthen our resolve. We need to live with purpose. So today I make a vow to live in a way that honors sacrifice, to show through my actions that I understand what they died for, to strengthen by their courage, inspired by their faith, and guided by their example. I'll continue to stand for the ideals that they lived and died defending. My unit in Afghanistan, we had approximately 150 people go. We had 8 killed in action and 54 wounded in action. Freedom, honor, unity, these are not just words. They're a legacy for all of us veterans to live by. It's our sacred duty to carry that forward. How are we going to continue this mission? Well, today I serve in a new way as the development coordinator at Operation Rally Point. And before I go any further, I know that they read a whole bunch of accolades and all this stuff about me and stuff like that. But you know what? There's somebody that I need to address. And he's there before I get there in the morning. He's there when I leave in the afternoons because I was a warrant officer. We don't work past 3. He calls me late at night. He calls me early in the morning. Sometimes I think he just calls me. I would like to introduce to you the CEO of Operation Rally Point, Brent Watts. You guys didn't see that, but he flipped me off. So you guys definitely take this stand up. There is nobody that I know in the 33 years of serving that is this passionate about helping other veterans. It's not just homelessness. There's many, many, many other things that everyone sitting at that table helps with. Johnny Grimes will take you fishing and yell at you. Tony will hide when there's work to be done. Jeremy, I thought was like 29 years old, come to find out he's a retired E9 from the Air Force. Shannon working with folks, veterans to get, health care at their homes and stuff like that. Mickey, our latest addition, is a therapist. Always sitting in the crowd, interpreting everything you do and say. And then, of course, there's Crystal that has been feeding us like crazy. Before she showed up, I weighed 198 pounds. All right. We deal in the top 3 issues, okay? We deal in suicide awareness, mental health, homelessness, and VA disability and healthcare. Every time I sit down with a veteran, I see a reflection of my own journey. And I'm not going to bore you with all those bad details, but it was a pretty bad chapter in my life. It's about pride, it's about pain, and it's about resilience. Some come to us broken, frustrated, tired of fighting through the red tape, but when they leave, I always know that they leave with something, and it's called hope. We give them traction, whether they like it or not. And hope is the first step in healing. In the book of Matthew, it says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for the least of your brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." I can live by that. I'm okay with serving people. Whether it's helping a veteran file a claim, housing a veteran family, or simply listening, every act of service ripples outward. Those ripples matter. There's something powerful about watching a veteran get help that they earned. Keyword in that paragraph, earned. Or seeing a family find stability again. It's proof that while wars may end, the mission continues. So today, as we honor everyone who served on Veterans Day, though it's just one day a year, for me it's every day of the year. It's every day that a veteran lends a helping hand, every day that a community stands behind its heroes, every day that we live with gratitude, not only for what we receive, but for what we can give. To my fellow veterans, never give up. To our families, thank you so much for standing with us. To our community, thank you for allowing us to continue this mission. Our service shaped who we are, but compassion defines who we are. So what does it look like in the future? The next generation of veterans is coming home. They fought in cyber wars and humanitarian missions in most places that we can't even pronounce. At one time, I was in a place called Bishlavek, Kyrgyzstan. Gesundheit. They're tech savvy, they're driven and ready to make an impact. But you know what they still need? They still need community. They still need purpose, and they need understanding. As a nation, we need to make our gratitude, it's not spoken, it's shown. Through better health care, mental health support, and opportunities for veterans to continue serving in new ways. And as a veteran, we must reach back and pull that next one up. That's how we honor those that didn't make it home, by making sure those who did thrive. So you know what? Now it's a little bit different. Now I'm going to ask you to rekindle something that I know we all have done. If you are a veteran, please stand. I'll give you old guys a second to get up there. All right, now here's the real curveball. Thank you for my understanding. I want you to raise your right hand. And I want you to repeat after me. I'm an officer, I can do this. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed above me, according to the regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. God bless you, God bless me, and God bless the United States.
You guys thought I spoke a lot. Yeah. Thank you, Mike, for being part of our special ceremony here in Loganville. Thanks for not only your prestigious years of service to our country, but also all that you do after your service to the U.S. Army. It's great to be able to help people that you really can feel for and understand. It's great to have that opportunity. As we prepare to bring forward the ceremonial wreath, today we honor all veterans, and you stood up just a second ago, so I won't ask you to again, and all branches of the U.S. military. There are quite a few here today, as you all saw. And on behalf of a grateful city, a grateful state, and nation, we thank you for your service. Okay, as in the past, it has been a tradition that Mr. Stan Malden lead our wreath-laying ceremony. Today, Stan is back in support of the wreath team. Now it's hard to be standing here, or for that matter, standing at Ride for America, or the many other events in and around Loganville without honoring one of the men who does so much behind the scenes, Mr. Stan Malden. Thank you. His commitment to serve his nation has extended beyond being a combat infantryman, where he earned a number of awards. His dedication to our country has continued after his service, as he devotes many, many hours, again, to the veterans' causes, and I listed them for you before. He spends a lot of time here. And while we're here, I'd also like to mention another group, and I'm not going to leave you without mentioning it. That's the American Legion Auxiliary. The Auxiliary, are they here today? How many stand up, please? I know there are a lot of hard-working, many hours spent by many ladies in our country. But you'd be hard-pressed to find a group that works more than these two. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Also, I'd like to mention we have the ROTC Sabre team here. Stand up, folks. Hey, y'all stand up like we did. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And you are the future of our country. And we also have from Loganville Middle School, the Gentlemen's Club. Please stand up, gentlemen. They was a very special group of young men who've been with us for a couple of years. They do some things that are out of the box at the middle school. So we thank you for what you do. So, with that said, please help me welcome to the podium. He is so excited. He wants to be up here now, and we want him now. Mr. Stan Malden, to honor the Rogers family.
You know, Skip never tells a story. Or for that matter of fact, a lie. So, you guys believe all that he said true? I'm sure you do. You know, again, welcome to the, first of all, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Skip's going out. We'll have a new mayor coming in, and we're proud to have you here, brother. Thank you. Look forward to working with you next year at this ceremony. So thank you. By attending this ceremony today, all you guys are making a statement, a big time statement. Big statement, and I'm proud of it. Let it be known to our community. Every year at our Veterans Day ceremony, am I too loud? I can move out a little bit. Every day at the Veterans Day ceremony, we lay a wreath in honor of one of our deceased members. I'm here today to remember that man. And he was not just a member on paper, but a member that worked at making a big difference. At this point of our program, we will recognize the service and courage and the sacrifice that Mr. Reggie Rogers gave to our American Legion Post 233. We have a picture of Reggie right in front of me here. I promise I won't drift too far off my point here. I take notes and I keep notes in front of me so that I won't drift away, but it's always hard to do that when you start recognizing a person that was such a good friend of mine. Many of you were in attendance at Reggie's service a few months ago. The accolades that we spoke of him then were many, but some are worth repeating today. 4 years ago, Reggie joined the U.S. Army and was a very decorated person and honorably served. He was decorated with even the Purple Heart. And that changed what he did in the military when he got his Purple Heart. After training at Fort Benning and Fort Polk, he had 2 tours, one to Vietnam as an infantryman and as a helicopter crew chief. The second one was to Germany as a crew chief. Reggie was an extremely devoted family man. Extremely devoted. I would be with him a lot of times and they would call him and he'd say, I gotta get this, because he loved his family. Sometimes we'd drive 50 miles and he'd still be talking to his family because he loved you guys. I mean, he really, really did. He had over 20 years of honorable service with the U.S. Postal Service before retiring. He continued serving his country by joining this American Legion, and was not just a member on paper again, not just a Legion member, but also a member of the elite American Legion Riders. He was elected to serve on the executive board. While on the board, he brought new ideas forward to make Friday nights. That's the night he chose to. He'd give up part of his weekend for this post. He brought forth new ideas to make Friday night successful and profitable. Again, we try not to make big money at this post, but we try to keep it open. I think it's pretty dang nice. I think it's one of the best posts in the whole Southeast, like it was mentioned before. He got his family involved in working at this post. You remember those days, Cheryl? And working at this post when it was tough to get knowledgeable support people. But they helped us keep this post open just by working like they did and volunteering like they did. I feel sure that I can say Reggie was respected by all of the people that were members of this post, and many of them called him their friend. He often wore a big smile. And I asked him one day, I said, Reggie, you smile all the time. I said, you know what, don't you get sad every now and then, or don't you get tired every now and then? And he said something I remember to this day. And I think more of us need to abide by this statement. He said it helps bring more people to our team because they know that when we smile, it means that we are sincere. And maybe at this post, Commander, we need to adopt that. Maybe we need to smile more. I'm not getting on the dress. That's a suggestion because sometimes I forget that. myself. Sometimes a lot of times I'm rough around the edges. But that means a lot, doesn't it? A smile means a lot. So, anyway, I want all of us to remember that. Again, it brings people to our Legion, and I'm sure that if we all could wear those type of smiles, it would mean a lot. I can even remember now seeing Reggie while he was on the crew chief on his helicopter, sticking out the big old hand. Reggie had the biggest hand. Next to you, Joe, Reggie had a big old hand. I can see him now sticking that big old hand out. Wasn't easy to get up on the helicopter, was it, Mike? Or Mike was 100 pounds lighter than But I can see him now sticking that big old hand out there and helping us infantry up on the helicopter, right, Brandon? There we go. God loves the infantry. Absolutely. I could go on and on, but most in attendance know about Reggie's devotion. At this time, I want to invite another hardworking person to the up on the wreath team, Senior Vice Commander Steve Nevada, and Steve will approach and drape our Legion's charter. Steve looks good, doesn't he? Look at Steve. You should have seen him Saturday night. He had on a whole suit, not just sport coat and slides. He looked good Saturday night, too. Steve will drape our charter and not only remember Reggie, but all the Loganville veterans, and not just veterans at this post, but all the Loganville veterans that we've lost in the past year. Steve, please drape our charter. Thank you, sir. Steve will also light the red, white, and blue ceremonial candles. Steve, if you will, please light the candles as I read them in each color. Also read the meaning of each color. Please light the first candle. The first candle is red. Red recalls the blood of the servicemen and women that has been shed in battle for our great nation. The second candle is white. White reminds us to keep our POWs and MIA servicemen and women in our thoughts as we hope and pray for their safe return. Third candle is blue. Blue reminds us of the service to our nation, the men and women who have made it home but have since passed away. We will remember them. Thank you, Steve. I now invite two very special guests to come forward. Our first veteran guest is Mr. Ron Thompson. Mr. Ron Thompson is Reggie's special friend. I kind of got jealous of those two guys there when Ron first met Reggie. I wanted to be the best guy, the only guy, but Ron became one of Reggie's best friends pretty quickly. Ron is a 4-year Marine Corps combat veteran. Volunteered to serve in Vietnam, then he said it third time, volunteered to serve in Vietnam. Assigned to the 5th Marines Combat Unit, not only in the Marines Combat Unit, but in a very tough area of Vietnam called I Corps. He is a highly decorated wounded veteran and was awarded the Purple Heart. Ron is a Legionnaire and holds membership at the Covington American Legion, resides in Madison, Georgia, and is active with the Lawrenceville Vet Center. Our second veteran guest is Mr. Rocky Moore. Rocky's from Yukon, Oklahoma. Not only an acquaintance of Reggie, but also a short-time friend. Rocky is a U.S. Army combat veteran, served in Vietnam as a bushmaster and was wounded and awarded the Purple Heart. You may ask, why Rocky? All the way to Yukon, Oklahoma. Rocky and Reggie found out that they had a lot in common during Rocky's last visit to Georgia. Both Rocky and Reggie spoke about their battle with cancer. Both at that time were victorious in their battles. Both Reggie and Rocky were combat veterans. Both served in the same brigade, the 196 Light Infantry Brigade, while on their tours in Vietnam. That's why Rocky's one of Reggie's short-term friends. Gentlemen, please approach and place the wreath in his honor. I will ask that all are able to please stand for the presentation of the wreath. Now that the wreath's in place, I ask that you please remain standing for a moment of silence. Also remain standing for the gun salute. I did say gun salute. No matter how many times I say that to people, you see a lot of those combat veterans and a lot of the women that are visiting us today, and they get startled by the sound of the guns. We'll remain standing for the gun salute and the playing of taps. You may show your respect by saluting the wreath. You may be seated. I'll leave you today with these few words. Over 25 million Americans have served our country since the start of World War I until today. During that same period, over 2 million of those 25 million did not make it home. Over 347 million Americans live in the United States. But only 6% served of the nation's population serve in the military. I gave you those numbers to say this. Veterans are few in numbers, but very special people. Because they serve our country, even when called on knowing that they might not make it home. But God trains men to be warriors, not spectators. So they continue to serve our country. May God bless our nation, our nation's veterans, and I thank you all for attending today. Thank you.
Well, I'm back. Thank you, Stan. I've only got another hour or two. That's not true. Now it's my pleasure to welcome the commander of American Legion Post 233, Commander Fritz Seiler. Post 2, go ahead, please. Post 233 has been such an important part of the history of the city of Loganville. Just for those that aren't aware, the American Legion years ago, when the city had absolutely no money and needed a trash truck, the American Legion provided a trash truck. So that's good. And he and his Legion continue to serve as a beacon of light for those in need of hope in our community, as it has done for more than 78 years. Like so many of our honored guests here today, Commander Seiler is a proud U.S. Army and Army National Guard veteran who served our country for a total of 23 years. Commander Seiler joined this American Legion post and has held several prestigious positions with the American Legion and the American Legion Riders. While, like his military career, Fritz has earned several awards, but what makes him happy is working hard to help veterans, their families, and making this post a better place for not only his veterans, but also the Loganville community. Please help me welcome Commander Fritz Seiler.
Thank you, Mr. Outgoing Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Veterans Day. Those of you who are, most of you are wearing poppies, and you might not be aware of what they're about. Notice that anchor that's on the wall over there, and it's covered up in poppies. This was done by the ladies. It used to be the Ladies Auxiliary, and now it's the Legion Auxiliary, which takes in wives, widows, daughters, and widowers that were left out of being a part of the sons. This comes around to us, unfortunately, only, 12 years? Every 12 years, it makes a circle, and it comes back to us. We have a wonderful Legion Auxiliary unit here at this post. We're blessed to have those folks. They are hardworking, and we thank you very much for all that you do for the community, and for the post, and for each other. So thank you very much. And what you would probably be interested in doing is looking up, Googling the American Legion Auxiliary and find out about Moyna Michaels, the Poppy Lady. And she's in this county. Is from this county. It's really an interesting history, and it tells an awful lot about 1919 and where the whole American Legion came about through frustration and aggravation and troops being left in Paris a long time after the war was over. The history of the American Legion is really a great, interesting thing. So if you are a veteran and you do not belong to an American Legion post, and you live in a community that's close to here, you don't have to live here, and you would like to continue to serve the community, the state, and nation, why don't you come have lunch with us one day when we don't have so much stuff going on? The food is good, and the price is right. We're an open post. We want you to come in. and have lunch with us. So if you're a son, daughter, grandchild, widow, or widower of a veteran, we have a place at the table for you also. We have organizations, groups that make up this whole thing. The Legionnaires are the veterans. The auxiliary are those folks right there. The Sons of the American Legion established a lineage back to grandfathers, grandmothers who served. It has to be a blood relative in order for you to be a son or a member of the Legion Auxiliary. You're part of the family. You're our lineage. Your support, talking to all of you, helps many that you never see who are in dire need, oftentimes just to make financial and ends meet in their lives. That's one of the reasons that we support happily the Operation Rally Point. We're happy to give them that money. That is an ongoing mission. It's something we believe in. We do not want veterans sleeping in cars, trucks, driveways, woods, in our pavilion, although it's rather nice. It's not the way that veterans should live. It should be someplace that's safe, that they can actually have peace. I would remind that our oath did not end when we left the military service. We can, if you're able, and should be, supporting one another and supporting those who are most in need, who cannot help themselves. And that comes down to the VA also, and helping them. So my little talk is going to be very short. Thank you, one and all, for all that you do to support the veterans today and every day by your presence. Thank you for being with us today. And this is a beautiful, robust day outside. So I hope that you enjoy it to the max. And happy Veterans Day, everyone.
Very short-winded today. Thank you, Fritz.
Good job.
Stan, good job. Stan Mullen's gonna hate me for this, but by golly, Pastor Calvin Mapp is gonna come up and do the closing prayer. But before he does that, and I'm taking a liberty, please know it, but I also know lunch is gonna be great when we're just a tad hungry. I get it. So, Calvin, would you please come up, and I'm gonna ask him to sing one of my favorite songs, just 2 verses. And I hope it's a spirit to your heart for them. Pastor Calvin Mapp.
First, I want to say thank you, Stan, and Skip, to the new mayor. I want to thank God for this opportunity. It's been a beautiful experience in my life. Loganville, one of the most safest cities in the world. Every Wednesday we pray. First Wednesday of the month, we come together, all the churches, Monroe, and all the surroundings, and we pray that God would lead us throughout the month. Prayer changes things. Prayer makes the difference in our lives. When we were on the battlefields, it was prayer that kept us, our loved ones who was praying for us while we were away. I just want to thank God for the United States Air Force, and the most sang the song. I want to thank God when I was in Korea, my commander said, when I go back to stateside, I want to go to Hill Air Force Base in Clearfield, Utah. And I told my commander, I said, I want to go to Virginia. I ended up at Hills Air Force Base, and he ended up in Virginia. So I said, Lord, why do you want to send me to Utah? I didn't want to go. And I said, where's Utah anyway? But when I got on the plane and I left Atlanta and flew, and I landed in Salt Lake City, there was snow everywhere. I said, Lord, why am I in Utah? And a few days, few months before I was ready to get out of the service, the Air Force, I met my beautiful wife, Mignon. I met my wife. We've been married. Yesterday was her birthday. She turned 80 years old yesterday. And if we live to see April the 6th, it would be 54 years we would have been married. Amen. When I was a little boy, I used to sing a song that when trouble's everywhere, when things are going wrong, there's a beautiful song. I know some of you may not know it, the young people may not know it, but give me that old time.